off with a quick presentation, high level, that kind of shows you guys who we are, what we do, give you a little tour of the software, talk about the marketing solution. Then I'll come back on and rant a bit, and then we'll get into your Q&A. And if AMZ hangs around, you might play us a song on the way out, just to round the show out. If you've got time, AMZ, don't feel like you have to. Okay, and we'll get into your questions in a bit. And yes, aloha, Tina. If you ask a question, my whole family's from Hawaii, or my dad's side anyway. Okay, Taylor, take it away.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's session. My name's Taylor. I'm on the marketing team at Art Storefronts, one of the people putting together our many resources and consulting and mentoring our members on a regular basis in workshops like these. Today's session is for non-members, so this is a free, wide-open session, and how it's a little bit different than what you get as a member. Our member workshops, which we hold 5 times a week at this point on various topics, are largely tactical, right? So it's giving our members ongoing advice, tweaks to their strategy, checking in with them, seeing how far they've gotten since we last spoke, and making sure their business is always growing. By contrast, today will be largely about what we call unclogging the drain. Before you're even ready for tactical or strategic advice, you need to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear. Or it could be something more practical, like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're going to find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have 2 segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on Art Storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're going to hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it. Raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes. And that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're going to send this to you after today's session ends. We're going to email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right, so if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are 2 halves to Art Storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything on situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work. You get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts. You save up for it. Eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color? How's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions. Your website does not answer them and they never get it answered. They leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go. Got the help for you right here. Problem solved. Keep going. Keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you could step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, G-clay print, metal, acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need, right? So let's step it up. The 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more. But that is the engine, the Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. Let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefront's website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members-only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home. And our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
Thank you, pre-recorded Taylor. So that's sort of the high-level demo. Some of you guys I saw came in a little late. Don't worry, we'll send you the replay automatically at the end of this thing. So if you want to see that part again, you can go back, take a look at it. So I'll talk for a few seconds about some current events, some trends, and then the best part to get into your questions. And so you can raise the hand in the participant window in Zoom, and that's how I'll know you have a question, or turn your camera on, wave at me. If I see it that way, that's fine. Or you can throw it into the chat. I'll answer those. We got a bunch of people watching on Facebook and YouTube too. So if they leave comments, I will answer those directly as well. The website solution and the marketing solution, right? I know conclusively, because I have so many of these calls and talk to so many photographers and artists on a weekly basis, that almost none of you, 97 out of 100 do not have a website problem, meaning there's no website that you could move your entire art collection to tomorrow, and your business would all of a sudden explode. All of you guys have a marketing problem, and the marketing problem never goes away. And you just start working at it, and you get better at it, and that's really what we teach. So, fundamentally, most people view us as like a software company, and yeah, we have software, but really we're an art marketing university, consultancy, and agency. It's really what we do, because it's what every single solitary artist and photographer's problem is, straight up. And I imagine, depending on who we have on the call, some of you guys are just getting started, and you probably perhaps not even validated your art or photography yet. What do I mean by that? You've not sold your art or photography in any decent volume, let's say over $2,000, to people not named mom, dad, sister, brother, and or close friends. So that's a huge one. That's a topic we could certainly get into. I've got some really good strategies for you on how to do that if you're in that particular camp. So if you are, could certainly do that. Others of you have sold well, but you are overly reliant on offline revenue sources, which COVID just absolutely obliterated. And you're trying to figure out what to do now in the new digital world. We can get into some strategies and tactics there. We can certainly talk about merchandising, which I'm extremely passionate about. And I talk about on these calls all the time, because most artists and photographers do not do it. If I asked for a show of hands, how many of you have your art on the 6 most important media types? And in most cases, it's a very, very small number, right? Everyone thinks they're selling a 2D image, or they can sell a 2D image, when that's not what people are buying. They're buying a 3-dimensional print and or original that hangs on the wall. So if you don't have those and you're not showing those, then that's a problem. That's a problem. So that's essentially what I got. Big picture of what we advocate, and really what we push for, are artists and photographers operating their own gallery in which they sell DTC, direct to consumer. So there's no middlemen in between. There's no one else with their hand in the kitty, taking large commissions, or anything else. And you don't have to get a whole lot right, as long as you don't get that one wrong. If you get that one wrong, and you're attempting to build a business in which you're not keeping your customer data, and you cannot market to your customer data in perpetuity, then it puts you in a very difficult position, and especially where you don't control the rules, right? Like if you're selling in galleries, it's great when it's great, but it can be turned off overnight. COVID could hit, gallery could close, your revenue source is completely gone. And unless you have your own attention, i.e. list of email subscribers and followers on Facebook and Instagram to continue marketing to, you're dead in the water, right? And we've seen so many artists and photographers come in recently where that's been the case. And it's just it's a tough situation to be in. So we really advocate that artists and photographers start a DTC, a direct to consumer business, and then never stop. You get in. Everyone comes to different circumstances, different level of sales, but you build your business that way, and that's a long-term sustainable business that can work for you. So I'll start getting right into the questions. Pamela, I see yours in the chat. Elizabeth, I see your hand. Kathy, I see your hand. So we'll start with Elizabeth, and then we'll get to you, Kathy. So Elizabeth, you're up first. You probably need to unmute your mic. Yep, you got it.
Yeah, hi there.
Hey.
I'm excited to learn more about art storefronts. I have a SmugMug website right now. I haven't launched yet. So I guess my question really is about labs. So I'm a photographer, and do I get to choose my photo labs, or do you have a lab that you recommend and connect to?
Yes. So we have two labs if you integrate with us on the print side, and on the West Coast it's Bay Photo, and on the East Coast it's Graphic Dimensions, and we have a pretty good relationship with both of them, so you get a little bit cheaper pricing than you would if you just went off the street and approached them on most items anyway. And an order comes in, you get paid, the printer gets paid, they slap your logo on the box, they print it, ship it, you touch nothing. That's option number one. Option number two is you might decide, like, you know what, when I'm doing my limited editions and I'm signing them, I would prefer to have use my local printer, right? So that you can just go pick it up, sign it, have them ship it. That's an option too. You can do any combination in between of like self-fulfillment or just using us. Our argument is, though, that if you are, we push you to use ours for one reason only. If you're in a situation where you have to get the order, send the order to the printer, call the printer and make sure he got it, drive down there and go look at it, potentially have to go drop the thing off at UPS, send tracking numbers and any of that nonsense, that's all time you're not spending on your marketing. So it's not doing that, and doing that efficiently and effectively is not going to fundamentally grow your business in the slightest, right? So it's not a high ROI use of your time. So we advocate everybody goes with ours, just based on the fact that I want you spending every available minute you have actually growing the business rather than doing admin stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah. There's another lab that I've been referred to, so I'd like the option to use them from time to time. But Bay Photo's fine too. So thank you.
What kind of photography is it?
Well, I do a lot of landscape photography, but what I'm working on primarily is I do a lot of textures and abstracts, so it's abstracts for interiors. I've created a lookbook page where I have done a lot of the, taking my image, dicing it up into a diptych or a triptych or multi-panel, and showcasing it in a mock-up.
Wonderful. So, yeah, and actually selling those too is a great way to get the AOV, that average order value, up, which is phenomenal. How have you gone about selling them thus far?
Well, again, I haven't launched my website yet. I've been a little nervous to do that. So that's why I thought maybe I would look at art storefronts right now, and before I launch, and the marketing tools are pretty appealing to me.
Yeah, I would. This is going to sound super counterintuitive. Okay, my advice. I would, because you've never sold anything, go through your archive, pick what you think is going to be your, call it 5 to 10, even up to 15 best sellers. You don't have any data, so use your gut. That's the best sense you've got. If you have a decent Facebook page following, do you have that Facebook page? Personal's fine. You can, and this is the same advice I give all the time, but it's just so powerful. You can use this thing. You can order prints of those, call it 10 to 15, or you could even do 5 to 7. And before you even contemplate who you're going to do for the website, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get the validation that your work will actually sell, right? Again, the analogy I love to give is the restaurant one, right? Instead of writing a business plan and leasing a building, writing a menu, hiring staff, opening up the restaurant, all the time that would take, instead, go to Costco and buy a cart, make some food, wheel it into an office building and see if you can sell it, right? Because if you can't sell it, you don't have a restaurant. You're out of business, right? So you have to get the validation that the market wants what you have and what you're willing to sell. And I can't tell you, your friends can't tell you, only the market can tell you, full stop. So you get those prints. And again, I love showing this visually. Give me a second. I got to go grab my stack. Hold on. The cool part about this is that because you would be doing it on live video, which is the most effective way to do it, at least in the COVID world that we live in now, you can order these things really, really small, and it is not a big investment in the slightest, and it's really easy to show them small. But you can say, you turn on that camera, You go live on Facebook, and you just say, "Hey guys, it's Elizabeth, and during this COVID situation, I've decided it's finally time to take my photography business serious." Right. So what I've done is I've printed out a smattering of my best images, what have been my most popular images over the course of the years, and I'm trying to sell them. I'm trying to get some validation and see whether or not this business will work. Now, let me tell you what media types I have. The green screen makes it look a little wacky. I have a textured fine art paper. I have a photo fine art paper. I have canvas gallery wraps, edge to edge printed, ready to hang, felt, sits very nice on the wall, no frame needed on these, so this is an option. I have metal, which is really incredible detail, incredible sheen. Zoom in on it. You can do all of this with your phone. Also ready to hang, also doesn't need a frame. I have acrylic, which is one of the hottest and sexiest new mediums that are out there in the business. You can see the thickness on the acrylic. The colors really popped on this one, as you can see. My lights are making it look a little weird. Also ready to hang, also without a frame. And I love the ones without a frame because you don't have to go to a frame shop. I even have wood. It's printed on wood, 3/4 inch maple, ready to hang, ready to roll. And these are my most popular images. And then go through each one. Okay. And what you do is you take the price that it comes from the printer. You already have a printer. You could do this in 2 seconds. If you don't have one, I'll send you a link and you can do it. And take the price, mark it up 250% from whatever it costs you. Okay. That's the price you quote. And then drop about half of it to 100% just to see whether or not you can sell it. I.e., here's this acrylic piece. And let's just pretend this is a photograph. Even easier. So I was in the Amalfi Coast in Italy. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. And I went to this place called Positano. And it's a beautiful hilled city. Amazing. Fun fact here that the city council actually mandates that none of these people can ever change the color on their house. It has to stay how it is, and all they can do is repaint it the same color. I had to hike up 275 stairs to get this view and almost got shooed off the patio by the hotel staff because they didn't want me there. This piece would normally retail for $475, but because I'm trying to get my business off the ground and everything else, I'm willing to sell it for $225 right now. All you have to do is leave me a message here on Facebook, send me a DM, email me, text me. We can do PayPal or Venmo, and then on to the next one. That's it. All you have to do. And do it a couple of times and see what happens. Because, what will happen there is instead of spending hours trying to figure out SmugMug and uploading all your images, or us for that matter, you've instantaneously taken those pieces to market to find out whether or not they'll buy, right? And, for whether you use SmugMug or whether you use us, if they do sell, then you've got a nice little boost, a nice little shot in the arm, some motivation that this thing's going to work out for you and that your work works, right? Pre-COVID, the advice would have been different. Pre-COVID, I would have said print out 25 of them, go and get a booth somewhere and sit in it for 8 hours, farmers market, art fair, show, craft fair, whatever it is, local brewery, whatever it is, and try talking to 50 people in a day and see what happens and see what you can sell. But without that validation piece, we all love to rush to like the low-hanging fruit, the easy work to do, which is, I'm going to build the website. But you don't realize like your website after you're done with it is like having a store in the middle of the desert where no one is. You have to get people there, right? And that takes a tremendous amount of work. And thinking you're going to do that before you validated whether or not the work will sell is it's doing it completely backwards, right? It's your business, your potential business is a boat sitting on the edge of the water. And what everyone wants to do is, I got to paint the deck and I got to get new curtains and I got to revarnish the deck and put a sail on it. And no, you don't. Push the boat into the water and see if it floats. Then you can pull it back out and get the website. So that's what I would say.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. It's such an important step, though. And Kathy, your question's next, and then I see the ones in the chat too. But what we offer is a total solution, and I can get more into it later. But I say with no ego, I think it's the single solitary best comprehensive solution for selling art and photography that exists. And the reason is the education and the marketing education that we give. We put all of our customers into Zoom sessions multiple days a week. We teach them how to market, and we create this incredible set of circumstances that they can succeed. The biggest problem we have with customers that are down, depressed, pissed, notwithstanding the fact that being an entrepreneur is an absolute roller coaster of highs and lows, no matter what kind of entrepreneur you are. An artist is no different, right? It's like 8:20 in the morning, you're like, oh my gosh, nobody likes my work. This is ridiculous. I want to die. I'm going to burn all this stuff and I'm going to move to Madagascar. 3 hours later, an order comes in and you're like, oh my gosh, let's go to the Mercedes dealership and start looking at cars because I'm going to be huge, right? And it's just this constant set of ups and downs. So anyway, so people get bummed for that. But the people that get the most bummed are the ones that come in without having validated their art, without knowing for sure that they have a product that the market wants, and then thinking that somehow a website's going to solve that for them, or just putting it up online and fish are going to jump in the boat. And it doesn't work that way. But anyway, I'm done with that rant. Sorry if that went long. Kathy, you're up next. Kathy, go ahead.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, super. This is the second time I've watched you.
Well, welcome back.
Yes.
I'm flattered. I'm flattered you weren't annoyed with me at the first one.
Yes. And I've looked at your parts of your blog, and I'm trying to get very acquainted with what you offer.
Okay.
I have two scenarios.
Yes.
One, I live in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm the manager of a co-op gallery of 15 partners. We are nonprofit. And so to get them to agree to spend any money, even though the marketing, as I keep insisting, is the most important thing. Yeah. And with the COVID, just as you've said, we need to get online more than just our website, which is a pretty simple one, and offering an online auction or something like that. So that's one situation. Big time money problem.
Yeah.
The other is I have a daughter who's a wonderful photographer. She's now been stuck in New Zealand.
Oh, yikes.
Although, they closed the country down and all of that. She is putting together just some wonderful things. She only presents on metal, and she's been pretty successful. So I'd like to get her involved in something like this, because she's very reluctant to sing her own praises, which is too bad. I acted. She's in the gallery in Savannah, even though she's a Californian. When she's in the country, I'm the one that knows her work very well and pushes her work in the gallery. How do I include all the partners? This seems like it's a one-person thing. Is there a way to do that?
It could be a gallery, but again, if it's going to be a gallery, you're going to include all the partners. The problem with that is, they're essentially all reliant on the gallery to do the marketing for them, right? In your case, it's likely, cool gallery, cool part of town, foot traffic comes in. That's essentially your marketing, right? That's how you're getting butts in seats, so to speak. Right. So the problem when you launch a gallery, and especially if you're in like some sort of co-op arrangement with them where you, the one doing all the marketing, is not compensated for it, I don't see it working. Because what happens is when you start a big gallery like that, if all of the artists individually are responsible for their marketing and only one of them are doing it, then one of them is the one that's driving all the traffic there, and all the other ones are benefiting, and it just turns into a sticky relationship really, really quickly.
Gotcha.
And let's be honest, none of them want to do the marketing. I already know.
No,
I don't even need to talk to them. I already know. Trust me, I already know. Talk to hundreds.
Yeah.
So, if you were to do it, all of the marketing responsibility would fall on your shoulders, and you better be compensated for that, right? Because you're gonna need that to keep things going and running. So, I say this all the time on these calls, but we live right now, 2020, in a world where the currency is attention. Okay, with attention, you can do anything. You can do absolutely anything. Who are some of the most powerful people in the United States right now? The Kardashians. I hate the Kardashians. I don't hate them. That's a strong word, but I don't approve of their entire operation. And yet, why are they making so much money? Why is the other girl like billionaire / not billionaire, whatever, and she's 19? It's because they have the attention. They can come out with anything. Those girls could start painting tomorrow and be the worst painters in the history of mankind, and they would still sell 25 million in the first year because they have all of the attention. They have all of the eyeballs. All of you guys, you artists and photographers, fundamentally will not grow a successful business without attention. That's just it, full stop. And so you have to work on building it. There's a number of huge upsides once you do. You're truly in a position in today's day and age where you can sell art internationally. The only thing holding you back is from building your own attention and marketing, and you don't need anyone's hand in your pocket at all. There's no need for a 50-50 split anymore, 60-40 split. If you do the marketing on your own, you have direct distribution. And like one of the things that I've ranted about incessantly and will continue to do so incessantly is the power of video to sell art. Now, yes, I get it. Video's been around for a long time. It's nothing new, right? But technology has advanced quite rapidly. That's number one. Number two, you can live broadcast for free to the socials. Okay. Number three, what was number three? Everyone's broadband speed is increased quite significantly. And the fact that like I can come on instead of, you know, and I would say, Kathy, even like 9 months ago, okay, we weren't doing these. And you would come on and you'd look at the website and you're like, ooh, I like what these guys do. And you'd read some more stuff. And then maybe we send you, you know, a non-live video. And then maybe you'd listen to a podcast episode. And then a couple of months later, you're like, oh, I'm going to reach out, and you get on the phone with somebody. Now, you could have come in yesterday. You can get right on a call with me. We can talk face to face, and it just accelerates everything, right? And so those rules apply 10x to selling art, because buying art, you know, everyone likes to think of like, okay, I'm going to sell my art online. What's that going to look like? I'm not going to have to talk to anybody. False. I'm going to put a discount on it. They're going to just come to the website and buy it just because they like the art. And that's not how art is sold. People want to know who the artist is. They want to know the story. They want to get to know you. And it's like, you know, the fact that you could have, you know, you come onto my site and I have a little widget that says scheduled personal showing. So they click that widget, they set up a personal schedule, and you're talking to me, the artist, directly. I'm showing you my pieces. I'm talking about the inspiration. And guess what happens when you get somebody in a direct video chat? You take something that could have taken months or years and you truncated it down into a 30-minute session. Boom, you've got the sale. So the fact that you can do that without leaving the comfort of your home for absolutely free is just, it's just profound. It's profound. And, you know, one of the other things that I would say is that, and I've had a rant, okay, about the art galleries in general, right? And I feel terrible for them, okay? I feel absolutely horrible, gutted. I don't know how you keep that business open right now. I don't know how you continue to pay the rent. I don't see it coming back to the strength such that it's profitable, probably for what, another year at least? If we go through the winter flu season, if we go through the winter flu season and it starts springing up everywhere, people are not going out, period. They're just not. They are just not doing it. And, you know, fundamentally, the art gallery model was super reliant on high traffic location, right? Or a location that benefited from the foot traffic of the other anchor tenants that are surrounded. And I've got a buddy who's super high up in retail, okay? Massively high up in retail. And they're loving it, by the way, because everyone's ordering online instead of coming into the stores or going into Macy's or having to pay it. But he goes, we're witnessing this really interesting phenomenon. And it's essentially sniper shopping. That's what he called it. I don't know where he got the term, but you know, the gun reference. But anyway, before somebody would go in the store, go and look at a bunch of other stuff, maybe walk out of the store, go to another couple of stores, and that would be their shopping adventure. Now, because of COVID, people are literally coming into the shop because they need to get a pair of shoes. They go in, they get the pair of shoes, boom, they're out, they're home, right? They're done. So it's just laser focused on the one thing and getting out. So until that comes back where people are going to wander around and stumble into a gallery and see it, like the business just doesn't look good. What I would do right now, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, is I would look for a failing art gallery in a good part of town. I would know that they're going to fail. I would renegotiate the lease with the landlord. I would say, I will pay you nothing to take over your lease, but I will get you out of your lease, which you're not going to be able to pay, let's be honest. Maybe I will take some of the decor you have inside, but otherwise I'm not giving you a dime for the name. I would change the name, okay? I would wire the gallery up with the most insane level of internet connection I could possibly get. I would build special railroad tracks all through the inside of it such that I could put cameras on a dolly through, and then I would put the call out to artists, and I would say, this gallery is the single solitary best gallery to run live broadcasts in the entire United States, probably the entire world. If you would like to do a live art show, I will help curate it. I will help run it. I will show you how to broadcast it to the various different social platforms. We have our own attention built in if you don't have your own. If you do have your own, we'll go in conjunction. As a result of facilitating all of this for you, I will take a 40% split of anything that's sold. Those are the terms, do you want it or not? And I would have artists banging down my door, for years. And do you know what I would do? As soon as I got one show hung, I would have a one-to-many live art show broadcast on all of the socials, all concurrently, all dealing with comments, all at the same time. The minute that was over, I would start executing on private one-to-one showings for any of my high net worth collectors or their collectors. We'll do a private show just for you, and I would have somebody pushing the camera through. And don't make that sound like Hollywood. Like literally, the train tracks are like $500 in the dolly. Like that's it. But you just do that, and the cameras on the cell phones are so good, you almost don't even need a video camera. I would get a video camera, but I would roll it through the gallery, and I would do live art shows all day long. Show would go up, the high net worth individual calls scheduled, boom, pull it down, get the next one up. And think about that. Think about what I could do. Now I'm good at marketing, and I see that, right? And I understand distribution. I mean, the minute the live video thing came out, I started doing it 5 to 6 days a week. This thing right now is live on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, it's a private Facebook group. And then we have the people here in the Zoom call, because I have the ability to reach so many people in such a short period of time. It's phenomenal. So independent of all the rest of that nonsense that I just said, you could learn how to get very, very good at doing a live art show inside of the gallery that you have now. And that would be an extremely valuable pursuit, an extremely useful use of your time.
Excellent. Thank you. One more thing. My art is jewelry and fiber, and I heard this time that would be a separate, a kind of a separate entity. So I guess where can I find more information about that?
So what you'll want to do, and you can sell that stuff with us all day long. It's not a problem. I mean, the reality is that our entire site is set up to sell wall art, obviously. But also, it's just an e-commerce store at the end of the day, too. So you can put any item in there you want. And sadly, for jewelry, for sculpture, and for most crafters, there's not really any software on the internet that caters to those businesses yet. I'm sort of surprised on the jewelry that there isn't one yet. But, anyway, it's all marketing at the end of the day. That's it. That's all that matters. You just need attention.
Because I can't go to shows. There aren't shows. No. That was my
I know.
my bread and butter. So
I know.
Besides the gallery. So I'm kind of stuck. Okay. Well, thank you very much. How do we join?
So April will put a link in the chat, and we'll send it to you after the fact too. And we do this request a demo process. And what happens is, I sort of hate the name of it. It's like, request a demo. What does that even mean? Sounds scary. We have somebody, you fill that form out. Somebody from our outreach team will call you. You can answer all of the questions. Like, what are the plan levels? What does it cost? What is the sale? We're running a pre-Black Friday sale too right now, by the way, some good rates. But anyway, independent of that, if you like what you hear, they set up a demo, which is like the full hour to go through all the bells and whistles of the software. So yeah, that's an option for you. But you could even what might be interesting is make it a family affair with you and your daughter. That might have some legs too. And the reason I really like that idea is because, again, it's not just the work, it's the brand.
Oh yeah, she has a wonderful backstory.
Yeah, but it's the brand. It's you and your daughter, right? I mean, I don't know if she's married and she has a new last name, but it could just be the two of you. And, collectively you would benefit from the marketing. You can absolutely have both things on the same site, and you guys can just be in tandem, both marketing. She does a little bit more, you do a little bit more. Your family, you're not going to care. And collectively, you get like a little bit of a jump start on building a good sized list. That's an option anyway. I think those are very interesting. So something to contemplate.
Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thanks, Kathy. Okay, Susie said, I've been uploading to Instagram daily this last week. I have a couple hundred followers. Okay, good. And I average only 40 to 50 likes. I've let my Facebook go over the last couple of years. My Instagram photos go to Facebook, but I notice it's only reaching 26 people. Yikes. I guess I can talk about this. So yes, to answer your question, in the short term, we teach you how to grow that all year long. That's what we do. We teach you to market week in, week out, never stops for the life of you being a customer. Facebook and Instagram, okay. Back in the good old days, you would follow somebody on Facebook, they would follow you, you would see 100% of their posts. You would see them all, right? You could even follow a brand and you would see 100% of their posts, which was amazing. Facebook and Instagram needed to do that to build up enough people such that the business would just grow organically and explode. The minute that they did, they took that reach. What's what called organic reach, meaning, you know, I have 100 followers, 100 people are going to see my photo, right? Or 75, however many subscribe to Facebook. So they took the organic reach, which used to be at pretty much 100%, and they've taken it down to 1%. 1%. On your personal page, it's a little bit higher than that, but it's like 1%. So Facebook and Instagram, if you know what you're doing, has a free plan and it has a paid plan. Okay. Now, there's not any pricing table for this. There's not some web page you can go to and put your credit card in to make it happen. But what the paid plan for Facebook and Instagram is what's called warm ads. Now, I need to make a distinction here. People that don't know you, that have never interacted with you or your brand, never seen your art, is what's called cold traffic. Okay. Warm traffic are people that have interacted with your brand or know you. Now, let me define that. It could be people that are on your email list. It can be people that follow you on Instagram, follow you on Facebook. It can be people that have engaged with you on Facebook or Instagram over the last 365 days. Engaged means followers. Engaged means send a DM on Instagram, send a message on Messenger. They liked, they commented, they shared, they interacted with your page at all. And so what you do, the paid plan again, is you create what's called a kitchen sink audience in Facebook and Instagram ads, okay? The kitchen sink audience is the combination of every warm audience you have into one audience, i.e. the kitchen sink. You throw it all in there. Then when you post, you turn the post into an ad. And what we're essentially doing by this is, let's say you have 1,000 followers on Instagram, right? Back in the day, you would post, and if all 1,000 went onto Instagram that week or went onto Facebook that week, all 1,000 would see your image. So Facebook reduced the reach on that down to 1%, right? So out of that 1,000, let's just say only 2 or 3 see it. So we run warm ads to these folks to go back to the 1,000, to go back to 1,000 seeing it, or, you know, 950 or 900, however many signed on that week. And that is the difference between the free plan and the paid plan on Instagram and Facebook. And it's extremely inexpensive to do this, okay? It costs, depending on, especially if you're just getting started, you can barely spend $5 a day doing it. But once you get picking up some steam, then you get up to $10, $15, $20, but your business grows as a result of it. So it's an incredibly powerful way to market. It's something we teach you how to do. And there's some other precursors that need to be established, i.e. you need to be marketing regularly to see an ROI out of it. But that's how you get reach in today's day and age. And once you realize this and you align your mind to the proper way of thinking about it, it's, you have a photo business, let's say, right? Let's say you rent a studio, so you have some rent. And then in the studio, you have a cable bill, a power bill, an internet bill, right? And that's what it takes to run the business. The warm ads on Facebook and Instagram are no different than the cable bill. They're no different than the rent. Once you start in on the program, you stay on the program. You stay on the program for 365 days a year. It is just a cost of doing business. It's something to be completely unemotional about, because all of you guys need attention, and who has the attention? Facebook and Instagram do. Straight up. So that's a simplified breakdown of what can normally be an extremely complicated topic. But everyone else, you know, maybe many people on this call have boosted posts before, right? Oh, I'm just going to boost a post, see how it does, spend $50. How'd that work out for you? That is not what I'm talking about. Thou shalt not boost posts should be the 11th commandment, okay? Thou shalt not boost posts. Anyway, that's a side rant. But that's how I would handle all that, Susie. Susie, did that answer it? It looks like I've got you unmuted anyway.
Yeah, it's good answer. Thank you.
Yeah. Say it again, Susie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think Susie's still on her vacation place where the internet broadbands are not so good. Okay, Wesley, you're up next. Go ahead, Wesley.
Yeah, I'm not doing video because my broadband's not so good today, Patrick. I've got 3 devices going here.
Yep. No, trust me, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So I've got a question about a feature that your competitor offers that I don't think I've ever heard you guys talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Before I make the effort, I just wanted to run it by you and see what you thought. This company is offering to I don't know what the term is. I wouldn't call it streaming, but basically make my product inventory available in sort of a truncated fashion under the shopping tab on my Facebook page as well as my Instagram page. So the idea is that, you know, you're kind of like broadcasting what you've got.
No, I know, Wesley, I know exactly what it is. We will never offer that, never in a million years. And you should run from that.
That's you know, I hadn't heard you guys say that you were doing that. So that's
Yeah.
what I
So
thought might have a
you
perspective
have to
on that.
understand,
Is that
you have to understand.
a bad idea?
Oh man,
Yeah.
is that a bad idea? The socials are at war with one another. Okay. Google is at war with Facebook, and Facebook is at war with Instagram. Yes, I realize they're the same company. LinkedIn's at war with both of them. Pinterest is at war with them. What the currency is, again, is attention, right? So he who has the attention wins. And so the easiest way to think about this is that back in the day with Google, you would search top 10 headphones 2020, right? To get a list of the top 10 headphones. Google used to take you to a blog post somebody wrote saying, what are the top 10? What do they do now? They just take that list right away from the blog post and they put it right in the search engine results page, right on that Google page, because they don't want you leaving Google, right? I could give you a million different reasons. Zuckerberg is perhaps the worst of them all, okay? He is the worst of them all. That man, okay, is Dr. Evil, and I sort of give him respect for it because it's ambitious, but he wants the entire internet on his platform. He does not want you leaving Facebook ever. Okay. He does not like YouTube. Hello, Facebook Watch, Facebook Video. He does not like Craigslist. Okay. Hello, Facebook Marketplace, right? He has a Facebook web browser. He doesn't want you sending text messages, but anywhere through him. Hello, Facebook Messenger, right? He doesn't want you browsing photos anywhere, which is why he bought Instagram. The whole idea is to control the entire experience on his platform, okay? So what happens when you take your traffic and instead of sending it to a site you own where you can capture the email address, where you can have data on the person, and in our case, where you have a site that will convert way better than anything on Facebook, he's going to keep it on Facebook, right? And so you're not going to own as much of your customer data. You're not going to be able to control the experience. And it's just a recipe for disaster. So we will never advocate that for our customers to do that. Well, with a point, right? Like the minute that those features came out, we had a couple of people that saw the shiny object, okay? Saw the shiny object and were like, "Ooh, look at this. This is going to solve all my problems. If I can just get my store onto Facebook, or I can just get my store onto Instagram," right? And this is like Instagram's made like a big fuss of this recently. And they spent hours configuring it. And they got it up and it had the exact same problem they had before, which it doesn't matter where you move. There's no feature that is going to grow a business for you. Okay. Art businesses are not built back on the back of shiny features. Not the way it works. Okay. You still have to market. Okay. So again, if you're the Kardashians and you open a store on Facebook, you're in good shape because there's going to be 100 million people in that store over the course of the first week. But if you're not, you're going to just have the exact same problem. And this is just, you know, this is the shiny object problem. Like one of the most important things that we do is exactly what's going on here. If Wesley was in a customer inside, I would have cut him off even quicker than I did here. And I would say, no, I know this is not going to make a fundamental impact in the income that you derive from your business. Do not do it. Do not do it. And I would say it forcefully. And then you know what would happen? That nonsense would be out of your head. You would not spend a minute researching it. You're not going to read any of the technical docs that are explaining you how to set it up. And instead, you're going to focus on your marketing, which is the only thing that is going to move the needle. As a final on that, Wesley, I have a heuristic that I use that served me well over the last couple of years to deal with shiny objects, okay? New shiny object comes up. Facebook launches Facebook stores. Now integrate your entire store directly on Facebook and benefit from the sales. Okay, you know what I do? I promptly ignore it and let it go right out of my brain instantaneously. Gone. Then I wait till it comes up again and again and again and again. And then after it's come up about 10 times, I'll go and find the marketers and sales and e-commerce specialists that I trust because it's my field, it's who I follow. And I'll see if any of them are talking about it. If none of them are talking about it, I will promptly ignore it again because it is just a new shiny object thrown out there to distract us from taking forward steps in our business. And this works so incredibly well, I can't begin to tell you. Over the years, do you have any idea the sheer amount of services that I've never heard of again, that didn't occupy any brain space, that I never wasted any time going and researching because it didn't pass my heuristic? If it does pass my heuristic, though, let's talk about that. Then instantaneously, I'll put 10 of my customers on it. I'll start measuring the data. I'll see if they're getting success. If the level of success is something that we think is duplicatable and will apply to everybody, I will move everybody on there. So I'm not emotional about it. I just know up front, well, I am emotional about one thing, which Facebook's trying to own everything and pound sand. Government needs to get their act together and break this entity up. But independent of that, if it works, I will wait till it passes my heuristic, waste no time in between, keep everybody in their lane, working on their marketing, growing their business, no distractions. So that's how I'd answer that. And the shiny object syndrome, like these things are just, they're there and they're just, oh, I mean, talk about derailing you. Like how many people go chasing shiny object after shiny object after shiny object. And what happens? They look back at their business a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years later, and they haven't made any damn forward progress. Why? Because they were chasing shiny objects. And fundamentally, underpinning it is the premise that there is some sort of single solitary feature that's going to be the silver bullet, the golden arrow through you. And it doesn't work that way. It's never worked that way. The only thing that works is 3 to 5 years of consistent marketing. Nobody wants that hard truth, do they? That's it. There is nothing else. There is no other shortcut. You have to work on your marketing for 3 to 5 years straight. And I'm not picking on you, Wesley. I spent first 15 years of my life chasing shiny objects, okay? I mean, I was like a golden retriever in a tennis ball. I would go until my heart would explode, just chasing that shiny object, chasing. And you don't get anywhere. You don't get anywhere. All you do is you waste a bunch of time. That's it. There is no shortcut to starting in on your marketing, working consistently at it for 3 to 5 years. Year 5, you have a healthy, sustainable business. And then guess what? Same thing for the next 5 years. Nothing good comes easy. All of you guys could build a big, successful, healthy business if you validate your art, you have the perspective of how long it's going to take to work on your marketing, and you get to work on it, and you have your dang head down. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else. There is nothing else. What we do all day, what we teach artists, what we teach photographers is this is the high ROI stuff you need to focus on. Anything outside of these lines or shiny objects, if I catch you, I'm going to pick you up, drop you right back in the lane, get back in the lane. Stay in the lane. We're all staying in the lane, focused. And like, look, the distractions never go away. They just get better and better and better at them. They just get better and better and better. And it just pulls your focus. But I also have, I have an unfair ace up my sleeve, which is 4,000 plus customers on my platform. And I get to look at all their data. So which ones do you think I spend the most time looking at? The ones that are selling a prodigious amount of art. And I look at their stats and I go, You know what I don't see in there? Facebook stores and Instagram stores. You want to know why? Because no one is selling any art on them. But, take your pick on the shiny object, right? I say the same thing about Pinterest all the time. I've never seen an artist or photographer turn Pinterest into anything other than low-level awareness. That's just not how it works. Not how it works. There is no shortcut. I should know. I spent my entire youth trying to find them. They don't exist. They are Bigfoot. Everybody's heard about them. No one's ever seen them. That's it. That's it. It's a bummer. That'd be a lot cooler if they were. I'd love to go back to my shiny object chasing days. Okay. What else? Any other questions? I feel like I've really been on a rant today. I gotta bottle it up. Any other questions? Things you're struggling with? Yeah, Brian's laughing because he's like, I agree, Pinterest never sells. He's telling me this on Facebook. No, it doesn't. It does not sell for anyone. I'm not saying that there's not an artist out there that's figured out how to make it pay, but if they did, they're not talking about it. And I would encourage them not to talk about it because if I find out it does work, I'll get in there. No, it's all likes and comments and shares. And likes, comments, shares, messages, high fives, hearts, none of which have a button at the ATM machine, do they, MZ? There's no button on that ATM machine for likes. There's no button on that ATM machine for comments. There's no button on that ATM machine for pins, and there never will be. All these things do, it's just like the mouse and the hamster, the hamster wheel, right? You're just spinning it around. So, oh, I got likes, I got likes, I got likes. Yeah, good. Enjoy that. You have fun with that. See where that goes. Susie, your hand's up again. I'm gonna unmute you. We'll see whether or not, if you got the internet issues, you might just need to hammer it into the chat.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. All right, I'm standing in my perfect spot, I think.
Oh, awesome. I love that.
All right, so I told you I'm not home. I'm going home in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And I really want to sign up with you guys. I have a pretty big show at the end of November. I've just switched to abstract painting like last February, and I made 20 paintings, and I'm on Instagram all the time looking at everybody's work. And I think that, just judging from what I'm seeing, I'm not making the big messy scribbly art that most wows people. And I'm thinking of switching over to more messy scribbly art because mine's semi, but not quite. So if I have these 20 paintings and I want to see that, I want to do that validation process.
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking like $2,000 a painting for based on what I was, my experience and what I was thinking, but I don't want to be stuck with 20 paintings. Plus I want to make sure they sell.
Yeah.
And if the galleries are not, I was originally making them for gallery sale. So maybe you don't want to talk to me about this right this minute, but when I do my demo, will somebody talk to me about this sort of thing?
Yeah. I mean, the outreach team is not on the front lines like I am, like other members of the marketing team are. So you're more in a situation for you, Susie. I would say if you feel like your art is validated and you do have perfect analogy, you have a restaurant, you open the doors, you've got some people that are coming in and ordering, and it is a business. It's not the size restaurant you want it though. It's not growing as fast as you would want it. Then if you feel like you're in that situation business wise, then just join. Then you'll get everything. Then you will get the teaching in the tutelage.
And and I don't know. I have not been validated with these abstract paintings, but I know I'm a good artist. I know I've sold paintings. I know I'm smart enough to figure out what's going to sell, and I'm very interested in that. I'm really interested in selling.
Yeah. And, that's exactly it. Like if you validated, you have an old style that works and that you can sell, but you don't think it's like your home run yet, then we have a framework that we teach that teaches you how to validate and how to constantly seek validation, all the social strategies to do it, what kind of things to post, how to go about it, how to get the feedback, how to gather it, how many you need to do to get there.
Great.
But it's
great.
It's a phenomenal business in the sense that, and don't let me, I'm not painting this with a rosy brush. It's not an easy business. Okay, the art or photography business. It takes much longer to grow and make it huge than some other businesses. But the thing that's phenomenal about it is that, and Nick, our CEO, uses this analogy, and it's the best one he's come up with. But you guys are inventors at the end of the day, right? And you can just go into your studios or go out and take your photographs, whatever it is, invent a brand new product, instantaneously take it to the market, and see whether or not it'll sell and validate it, right? Do you know how hard that is to do with other real businesses, i.e. software, right? Or let's say you're going to manufacture bikes, right? Or you're going to sell houses. Like, contemplate all the steps in any of those things. Shoes, purses, like, you guys can create a thing overnight, do the live art show, talk about it. Do you guys like this? Put a post on Instagram, in the stories with a little yes, no voting on it, okay, and say, is this the right direction that I'm on, yes or no, and let people hit yes or no, right? Like, the fact that you can do that quickly is insane to me, right? That's number one. Number two, know and realize, everyone gets like pigeonholed in the style that they want to create, what they're passionate about, and what they love, right? And so the tendency is just to do that and then work a really long time on trying to sell it, right? The way to think about it, and I'll back this up with some stats in a second, but the way to think about it is you go on a bunch of dates, right? And when you go on a bunch of dates, when you're single back in those days, you go from date to date to date, and then you meet the one. And you know that feeling when you meet the one in comparison to all the other ones? That's how you should contemplate your art career, right? Except now we have to take it out of the marriage thing, because you should be doing that your entire career. You should be doing it in your entire career, constantly doing these different styles, these different ideas, these different looks, to seeing whether or not you can get that feeling again, right? Because if you do, you might have a whole nother style. And, I read this out on one of these sessions like 3 months ago, but Picasso died with 45,000 unsold works. You know what he was doing?
Wow.
He was going on a whole lot of dates, okay? And some of them were not good dates. and he didn't sell them, and it was stuck on the side. And I think his family paid the price for that, because he had like 3 illegitimate children and 1 legitimate one, and they were all squabbling over that estate for like 20 years. I don't even know if they finished it still. But anyway, the larger point is, like, you guys, there's no barrier aside from your creativity in a short clip of time. Okay, and generally speaking, I know sometimes it's hard to get there, to try a new style, right? To try a new style, to bring it to market, to take it on some dates and see whether or not you'll get that feeling. If you don't, all good. That's a step on the process. So even if, Susie, you came in and you had your old stuff, and you're like, I think the squiggly lines is what I need to do, right? Okay, that's a hypothesis. Go on that date, see how it is, right? But if that one doesn't work, nothing to get emotional about. Go on a bunch of other dates. That's the only way you figure it out. And you have this profound ability to be able to create that quickly and do it. That is just, it's just an inspiring aspect of it all. So, yeah, so I'd say.
All right, you made me very happy. Thank you. Thank you.
That's my pleasure. You can get out of the spot. I picture Susie's like in the rural place where she is, where there's not cell phone service. She's like standing in some field, like holding her phone up to get the signal. That makes me laugh. Okay, Mary, did you have a question? I'm looking at the headliner of your car.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I've got you.
Okay, fantastic.
No driving, no driving right now. No driving right now, though, or at least don't look at the phone if you are driving.
I stopped to hit the thing, but other than that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be like all trying to drive and got that thing in my hand. It's just sitting on the seat. My hands are on the wheel. But I'm sorry. I will need to pull over. You're right, because my concentration is off.
Yeah, it's just better.
And with this whole COVID thing, I haven't been driving much.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Did you order
your
prints, Mary?
I am ordering them this week. I'm having that thing this weekend. I don't care. I'm gonna have it.
Good.
I'm gonna have it this weekend. I just have to get home and get them ordered.
I can see Amzi's laughing here, because Mary's been on a couple of times, and I'm like, Mary, we're not talking about anything other than Mary's in a position where she's working on validating her art, right? And she hasn't done it yet. And Amzi's laughing, sure I can see it. Her normal brain, her normal human brain, of which we all have the same human brain, right, is just like, well, okay, well, what about all of these other things that I need to take care of? And I'm like, Mary, there is nothing else you need to take care of. Yeah. Those are all shiny objects. The only thing you need to do is get it printed and try it out. So.
And by listening to your different live streams, I've really gotten to understand that. Say hi to my aunt, everybody.
Hi, Mary's aunt.
Anyway, one question I did have sitting here was that, like I said, with all I can, I'm gonna have that thing this weekend. But I have never posted anything on Instagram or anything. Does that matter? Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, you're in the very difficult chicken egg situation, right? Because like in order for you to get validation, you have to get the photography in front of people, right? If you have 0 followers on Instagram and 0 followers on Facebook, then it's gonna.
No, I have like close to 80 followers, but I know that's not much for Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I would say run the broadcast, because you need to get comfortable trying to sell the stuff anyway, and it's going to take you a couple reps and sets to do that. That's number one. Number two, you save the video after the fact, and it gives you something you can email. At that point in time, I would email it to family and friends. I know I say, you have to sell art to people not named mom, dad, but in your case, I want you to get a little shot in the arm, right? I want you to get a little motivational kick. So do that. But ultimately, if you can't get the art in front of the eyeballs, you're going to have to get creative on how you do that, right? Like there's a guy on the way to the coffee shop, the one I go to on the weekends because I have really good cinnamon rolls. My kids are addicted to them, and it's a problem. He opens his garage. He puts everything up on easels out on his driveway, and I constantly see people stopping and talking to him. I don't care for the work. It looks like garbage to me, so I'm not stopping, but good on him, right? Because he's getting the eyeballs, he's getting creative, and he's using what he has for his disposal, right? Like, Amzi, you could take your guitar, okay, go find a corner of bourbon, sit on a plastic bucket, and jam for a couple hours with a couple of your pieces out. Now you have an oversized opportunity. Do that in February, right? Do that, somewhere around Jazz Fest or when a Saints game's on or whatever the case may be. And Amzie has the ability, because he lives in New Orleans. I think you live close to the French Quarter. I assume so. You can have 55 conversations in a day, 100 conversations in a day, and you can show all that art to somebody. And, you get the reps and sets on. You're like, you like this piece? You do? Make me an offer. And shut up. See what they say. They might say $10 and you could say pound sand. No, but I appreciate you. And then if it sells, it sells. So there you go.
Okay.
That's it, Mary. You do it. You come back on. You let me know how it goes.
Yes, sir.
All right. And bye, Mary's
Thank
aunt.
you.
Bye, Mary's aunt. Yeah, she's back there too. Just let her know I'm waving. This is what's so cool about the Zoom sessions, right? Like you're just popping into people's worlds wherever it is, and it's like she's parked at a car. She's got her aunt in the back of the car, the mask on, the whole thing, which is great. Okay, David, you're up next. Go ahead, David.
Hey, Patrick. Nice to finally talk to you.
Oh, very
Been
cool.
following you guys for quite a while.
Thank you for that.
I'm going to admit I'm a bit leery, and I've been in the past. I spent the big money and had somebody do the website, and and then they had to update it, and they never updated it right. It was just a situation that didn't turn out.
Yeah.
And I've not marketed my work extensively simply because I don't need to. I'm actually an art instructor.
Okay.
And what I'm doing now is I'm kind of trying to promote my own stuff to show my own students, like, hey, you can do it this way.
Yeah, awesome.
And so and of course I've got inventory. I've got a lot of stuff, and I'm not concerned with it selling. I've sold stuff. I've sold a lot of different types of pieces over the years. However, I'm technically challenged, and that is really my issue. And I'm afraid I'm going to get into a situation where the technical challenge is just going to overwhelm me, and I'm just going to be, the attitude changes quickly then.
Yeah.
And if I can get beyond that, I'm all in favor of selling originals, selling prints, selling whatever.
Yeah.
I'm down for all of it. It's just that initial, I'm technically challenged, and I guess I don't even know if this is a question or not. It's just a concern that I have.
No, it's totally a legitimate question. I mean, I think what I would say to encourage you is we're all technically challenged. It just matters what level it's at, right? Like I am a huge nerd and I love technology, and I bang my head against the wall all the time with things that frustrate the hell out of me, okay, that I struggle with. I want to throw the computer through the window, and I genuinely mean that. Like, I think the technical challenges just go up and up and up and up. Like, you have a set of them, and then you get out of that set because you figure it out, and then you're just right up at the next set. And then it just kind of gets, like, it just keeps going. And it just keeps laddering up. And, I mean, I used to know how to do every single solitary thing on the iPhone when it came out, like every update. Now, I look at it, and I look at these videos the kids are making that are like an hour and 45 minutes telling me all the features, and I don't even look at them anymore. It's like, I just can't even take it all in. There's just too much. So I don't think those challenges go away. I think if you could get yourself in a position where you're like, I know that this is going to infuriate me. It's going to happen. There's not a doggone thing I can do about it. This is the new world we live in. I'm going to approach it with an open mind, and I'm willing to learn and stay at it consistently. The consistency would be the most important thing for me. Like, if you committed to saying, like, look, I think these technical challenges are going to infuriate me, but I'm willing to give it 3 years. If I'm willing to give it 3 years, I will not quit, no matter how damn frustrated I get, for 3 years. If you did that, I like your chances. If you're like, you know yourself and there's no way, then I say I don't like your chances.
Sure.
I think that would be the framework to go off of. But you already have some attention built in. You got a bunch of inventory. You've been at it for a long time, so you've got a good story there. What's your social following like? Facebook, Instagram? Have you kept up with that at all?
Well, I don't really.
Not at all.
I mean, on Instagram, I think, I don't follow it as much as I probably should, because again, I have a full-time employment, but
yeah.
And then of course, when I'm not working, I like to be making artwork. So I haven't been. I don't know what my Instagram following is. It's more than I follow. I think just probably only a few hundred at this point. And Facebook is just friends.
Yeah.
You know, and I come from a place where 98% of the people that I grew up with and associate with are like totally zero acclimated to art whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that whole crowd wouldn't be essentially like a crowd that I would be selling to.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not going to. I don't want to say that for sure because I don't know. I
no,
mean,
you definitely don't know. Here's what I'd say. I'm gonna send you a video. In April, will you find the Matthew Lockett basement sale video and put it in the chat, and then it'll end up in the show notes too. But you know, there's this concept of the garage sale, and everybody like instantaneously there's like some sort of endorphin hit that we all get as humans when we see the garage sale, because it's like part deal and part like treasure hunt, right? It like evokes your like some deep-seated like human desire to do this. So when you have a ton of inventory like that, we have a buddy that's run a basement sale, okay, and he sold 65 pieces over 15 days, a little bit over $30,000 Canadian for him, and I realize that's a big figure, but he ran a basement sale saying, "Look, I've had these works gathering dust in my basement for like 8 years, and I want to sell them." And he turned the camera on, and he started talking about them, and said, "Send me a DM on Instagram if you like it." And he did it very lackadaisically, like you're having a garage sale, right? So you don't approach it with, "My friends don't buy art; they never would buy art." Just like, "I got a crap load of stuff. I need to move it, right? I need to blow it out." I think you should do it. I think you'd be impressed. I think especially because on some of these pieces you're going to be like, "Look, $50, I don't care. $75, I don't care. $150, I don't care." But I saw him do it, and I helped him with the technology piece. You would just have to do your phone to Facebook Live or to do it to Instagram. But if you approach it in that mindset of, "I'm just having a garage sale, right? I'm trying to just get rid of some stuff. I got too much of it piling up," and you say that, it has a powerful priming ability. Like, people come in with the right mental state. They don't feel like you're selling them. You don't feel salesy because you're like, "Oh, hey, there's some tennis rackets I had from 6 years ago when I fooled myself into thinking I was actually going to play consistent tennis. Do you want them?" Make an offer, right? You could do that. I think you'd have a lot of fun with it. I think you should try it. I'm sending you the video. So you can watch exactly how he did it. This is literally in his garage studio. It's got like a garage studio in Canada, and pulls them out, shows them off. Works from a couple of years ago, tells a little funny story of what he was doing at that point in time in his life or whatever, right? And he has all of the numbers, and he just pulls the numbers off so somebody can say like, "Hey, David, I want number two, right? And then you can follow up after the fact, and you can say like, "Patrick, you want number two? What was your offer? $75? I'll take it, done, right?" But you might do something like that with as much inventory you have, and you might do like a little $3,000, $5,000 day. That's not a bad day.
No, not a bad day at all.
Right?
Another question I have is I don't know if it's based around intellectual property or not, but like, the music industry, for instance, if I own a song and you hear my song or you replay my song, I get that royalty, right? And that's just how it goes. And it's a lot different with visual art, of course. And that's where the copies and that's where the prints come into play. And, let's say I'm making prints of one of my pieces and they're selling, and then somebody wants to buy the original, and I end up selling the original. So how do I retain those rights to those copyrights if I sell the original?
It's part of the agreement. So what you can do, there's a couple different ways you can approach it. You just make it part of the agreement, period. You can put it in the small print. I never hear of anyone getting into trouble with this, like someone being pissed, because what happens is, if I own the original and there's thousands of prints out there, all that does is increase the value of the original. Straight up, full stop, right? It just increases the value of the original. So they'll love that. But you could also, if somebody, let's say that you're selling the piece for $5,000 and it's like, "David, I want that original for $5,000. You say, "No problem. I am going to retain the rights." And again, you don't even need to say it. You can just, it's fine print on whatever the invoice is and you're done, right? But you could say, "I just want to let you know I retain the rights to reproduce prints, but obviously you'll have the only original ever." They'll go, "No, I don't want you to ever do prints." Totally get that. What I do is I have one price for for the original, where I retain the opportunity, and then I have another price if you don't ever want it reproduced again, and then double that baby, and say fine, 10 grand. I will never, the last one, done deal. And then he's gonna be like, I'm not paying you 10 grand. I'm gonna pay you $7,500, and be like, done deal. I'll take that, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. The higher the price is, like, like we get condemned all the time. Like I'm not kidding. I get like 3 emails a week because we advocate discounting is a major part of the art selling process, right? And it's so funny because I tell this story all the time too. I'm a digital guy, right? And marketing's pretty universal. Like I can do art marketing and can be really damn good at it and understand the majority of it. But I had not been in a gallery scenario, right? And so this is that same basement sale guy, my buddy Matthew Laka, and we build these things called playbooks, right? And the playbooks are step-by-step guides on how to do the various different things to market an art or photography business. Pre-COVID, Matthew, the guy behind me, he's one of these guys that paints for 6 months and has the big gallery show and the bartender and performance art and the big guest list and the whole shebang, right? So he was going to have this show, and there were big pieces and smaller pieces, and he just did like a price for all the big pieces and then a price for the smaller ones. This one behind me was like the signature piece of the whole collection. And I looked at it from like a marketing standpoint and like really high-end gallery, right? He did really well in the show. He sold like 200,000 Canadian or 220,000 Canadian throughout the whole show. So he did really well. But this was like the piece that was in all the marketing material and everything else. And he had it priced at the same as the other pieces. And I was like, that's just a bad idea. Like, we can't do that. This is the marquee piece. We need to go up on it, right? And so I think he had it priced at 30, and I'm like, we're not doing it at 30. We're doing it at 40. I can't remember what the exact numbers are, but it's somewhere in there, just for example purposes. Show goes down, okay? They agree. The gallery owner agrees. He agrees. He's like, you're right, okay, we'll take it from 30 to 40. So price it at 40,000 Canadian. Show goes down, goes through, doesn't sell. But somebody, one of her regular collectors, the gallery lady, was like, expressed some interest in it. But he left. He left because he wasn't paying 40 grand. And he came back week after the show was over. I see he hasn't moved yet. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'll give you $33,000 and I'll take it today. Done, sold. So I made an extra $3,000, whatever the numbers were, after the fact. But the takeaway is the higher the price of the painting, the more the rich people that can afford it negotiate. That's how they got rich in the first place. Everyone negotiates. Everyone negotiates. And it just goes higher and higher and higher the higher up you go. So, I really like, and you learn it over the course of being an entrepreneur and a businessman. Pricing's a little bit higher and give yourself the room to come down. And what ends up happening is, in this case, he wanted to sell it for 30. He listened to my advice and got an extra $3,000, but it's more than that. The buyer left happier than he would have if it was at 30 and he got it at 30 because he just wanted to negotiate and get a better deal. And he wanted to walk out feeling like, I got it. I got one over on these guys, right? Like it's an amazing technique that you learn it over time. I was like a property manager for early in my career. And I'm pretty good at photography, not like artist, but I know how a camera works. I understand the rule of thirds. I'm good at digital retouching. I'm creative in that capacity. I would shoot these houses, and I learned HDR really, really early on. And so I would make them look 10 times sexier than they did look, right? Like I would go all out on the photography. And like I'm a tech nerd, so I would post it on Craigslist, and I knew how to embed the images, and other people didn't, and I knew the tricks for the titles. And so I would get an insane amount of foot traffic, and I would always price the house $1,000 over than I wanted to rent it, or $500 over a month that I wanted to rent it. And they would come in, and I could see I had them like on the edge. I had them at like the 70 or the 80 or the 90 yard line, but they weren't there yet. And I knew what the sticking point was, and I had that $500 cushion or $1,000 cushion. I'd be like, tell you what, you don't like that basement. Your wife doesn't like that. Doesn't like that master bath. If I was willing to repaint it for you, would you take it today? And they would always say yes. And I'd say, okay. Or I would drop the price or whatever. And you find that they're actually like happier as a result of it. It's weird psychology. But anyway, just a lesson on pricing. That will work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my dad sold vehicles for 20 years, and he was, I think, the number one salesman every month he worked there. So
he had skills.
What it takes to make the deal is is totally understandable. Now, you were talking about, there's not really a place for sculpture quite yet, which I'm sure, in the future, those things will be worked out. However, I do wall pieces that are basically kind of like driftwood. What they are is they're made out of beaver chewed sticks. Myself and one other human being, I do believe, make things out of these things. And
awesome angle.
I've done huge wall pieces. I've got wall pieces in a stateroom overlooking the Missouri River, and in a big, huge room, whatever. Anyways, the bottom line is they hang on the wall like a painting.
Yeah.
So would your
all day long, all day long. Yep.
It'll work.
Yep.
The same.
Yep.
Like if they want to see it on their wall in their living room, they can totally
do that. They could even do the AR. I don't know how in depth Taylor goes. I sort of forget, but we have a really cool feature. We don't like to hype that up because everyone will think like, ooh, I get this feature and I'll have a huge business and not do my marketing. Not true, but we have what we call live preview with AR, which is really interesting, right? And so AR is augmented reality in contrast to virtual reality, which is 100%. So AR it can just be thought of as a layer on top of what your camera is actually seeing. So you can go to a website with the phone, no app downloading or any other nonsense, and click a button, hold the camera up, and it will put your image. So it'll put your beaver sculpture as a layer on the phone, and then you can just move it around in your own house and place it on your own walls, take screenshots, do whatever you want. So you can visualize it that way too. And that actually does work for sculpture pretty cool too. But when I say no one's like truly developed one for sculpture, I've yet to see a website that like does the killer 360-degree view like you're in, seeing it on a pedestal or whatever, and can look at it from the different light angles. Like I think we're close to getting there. But yeah, all of that would work just fine. You'd have no problems.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for answering my stuff today.
No, that was my pleasure. They were good questions, and I'm serious. Watch the basement sale. It's in the show notes. You blow your mind. You can totally do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we're gonna leave it there. Amzi, you got a song for us? Whatever you had before sounded awesome. And by the way, Amzi's been on a bunch of these calls, and he plays us out with some music, which I've come to really love and appreciate.
This is one I built.
Oh, it's cool looking. You might need to start selling guitars, Amzi.
Yeah, it's funny because you talked about Picasso before, and so the song's about Picasso.
Done. Love it.
You ready?
Yep. Sounds awesome. I mean, that's good stuff. Who else could come up with something like that on the spur of the moment? Amzi, wonderful. Love you, man. Thank you. Thank you as always. All right, everybody. Have a great day.